Well, hello there, and welcome to another episode of Scouting 5, recapping scouting news from around the world for the week of March 15th, 2021. I am Scouter Ken, and I am once again recording from St. Albert, Alberta. Oh, and hey, for those of you who mark it, happy St. Patrick's Day. Belated. So we've heard news like this before. There have been studies from a few different countries that have all seemed to show this, but now from Estonia, we find once again that scouting, participation in scouting, increases happiness in youth and also gives youth a solid base for the future. So I guess the Estonian Scout Association last year worked with the University of Tartu to measure how activities undertaken by the Scouts in Estonia influence their development. And ultimately, the survey found that Scouts and also their parents both credit Scouting, both, really point to participation in Scouting for helping their youth develop particular skill sets that they feel are needed, not only in the present, but also, in the future, and that's in society and in the job market. In particular, the researchers found that Scouting has a very positive influence on self-development, on self-sufficiency, and also just on, sort of generalized knowledge acquisition and skills development too. Not just in the area of, Scoutcraft and the things that we would normally associate with the outdoor components of the program either, but also creativity, cross-cultural competency, adaptive abilities, and even design-focused mindsets. Maybe even more interesting than that is the research also focused on, whether the particular approach, the methodological approach taken by the Scouting Association fulfilled its stated goals. And overall, they found, evidently, that, this is the case. They confirmed that, involvement with Scouting, in addition to having a very positive, across-the-board influence on its members, also helped those members develop in ways that the Estonian Scout Association hopes youth will develop. And just as an interesting footnote, evidently, this is the first time, at least in Estonia, that a youth organization has been subject, that it's, the development of youth in its charge has been subject to this kind of research. There have been others, as I mentioned, conducted elsewhere in the world, but evidently this is the first of its kind in Estonia. Not that many of us are traveling these days, but if you happen to be in Saudi Arabia, I don't even know if this podcast is available in Saudi Arabia, to be honest, but at any rate, Scouts, the Saudi Arabia Scout Association, has evidently partnered with the Ministry of Health in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And so anybody who shows up at a vaccination center might well expect to meet a Scout leader or a Rover Scout. They will be assisting, volunteering their time in organizing and facilitating vaccination procedures for citizens and residents in the vaccination centers. As you can well imagine, the principal motivator for the Scouts is the desire to support the national efforts, the efforts of Saudi Arabia in responding to the pandemic and making sure that, the most vulnerable and needy get vaccinated. And helping out in this way is, of course, a great opportunity for them to demonstrate in practice the principles and the methods of the Scouting movement. We always talk about, doing a good turn, helping others, serving the community. And this is a really great opportunity to do that, basically essentially they're going to be providing, just mobility assistance and other such things. They're not going to be administering vaccinations or anything like that. But, it's sort of that needful assistance and, moving people around, especially those who have diminished mobility or, just need a little help, freeing up medical staff to actually perform the important work of treating and vaccinating people who show up in these centers. So a very great undertaking by the Saudi Arabian Scouts Association. And of course, if you've been following Scouting 5 for a little while, you'll have heard a few stories at least about some of the financial struggles that different scouting organizations around the world. I know a lot of the stories that I've had in this regard have focused on the Scout Association in the UK, but it has been a global challenge. Scout organizations in many, many countries are facing very strong negative impacts on their finances. In fact, as many as 88% of National Scout Associations around the world, National Scout organizations, around the world, may be falling on some kind of financial hardship as a result of the pandemic and all of the impact that it has had on membership and the ability to engage in activities and such like. Well, the World Organization of the Scouting Movement has evidently published a new financial management toolkit to assist member organizations in finding a new standard of excellence in financial management practices, and also to help them manage the financial challenges they have faced during the pandemic. The toolkit evidently aligns with the World Scouting Organization's quality standard principles, as well as international best practices in financial management, and it comprises practical tools and templates and how-to tips for improving financial systems within an NSO, a National Scout Organization. It's a 3-volume work and provides insights into a lot of different aspects of financial management, including things like appointing financial roles, developing internal controls, operating bank accounts, managing payments, budgeting, procurement processes, what to do for audits, things like that. And on the one hand, you would hope that, national organizations would be well equipped with people competent in these things already, but maybe many aren't. And at any rate, it is good to have, this sort of common set of standards that scouting organizations around the world can leverage to hopefully develop some strategies to deal with financial shortfalls and other budgetary issues that they've come upon in the last year. It would be a shame if we had to keep hearing more and more stories about programs being shut down and camps being closed and things like that. So, if you happen to be part of, the administration or governing body of an NSO, and you're looking for the guidance to enhance your group's or your organization's financial management systems, you can, of course, access the Financial Management Toolkit through the World Organizations of the Scouting Movement's Services area of their website, or also under their Good Governance service area. And that is all the news I have for you this week. Thank you again for listening, and until next time, be prepared.